Hello and welcome to Excel-Templates.com. This is Steve equals true. Please visit my blog at Excel-Templates.com where you're sure to get the latest posts, tips, tricks, and techniques and learn everything about Excel. All right, today I'm going to show you how I created this chart. It was the chart that I created for the last Friday challenge. You can go to the link below and download the chart and see exactly how it works. I'm going to show you here in the next 15 minutes or so how to do this. So what you'll notice is this chart has a pick list. So you see we've got Larry, we've got Joe, and as I pick different people within the pick list, they get highlighted and the other points go away. So if I click on Joe, you'll see the red line. Everybody else is grayed, so it's still visible but hidden in the background. If I click on all, you can see all data points in their natural color. So let me show you how I go about doing that. The other trick to this chart is that I've got within January, for Joe, I have got 4 different years. So we have 2010, 11, 12, and 13 with an average line just within January. So I've flipped it on its head by year here for Joe, so that we've got the last 12 months of all of 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013 grouped along with their average. So let me show you how we go about making those charts. Here's the original data set I presented in the Friday challenge, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to sort this data range. So I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to go to my home menu. I'm going to go over to the sort and filter and just do sort A to Z. And you'll notice that Joe is here first with 2010 as the year, Joe with 2011, and so on. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert a couple of rows. So let's just go ahead and do about, say, let's do 4 rows. And we want to create our pick list now. So this is going to be the pick list. And for our pick list, what we want to do is in cell B1, we want to go up to our data ribbon. From our data ribbon, we want to go to Data Validations button. We click on that and we want to choose Allow a List, and we want to type in our list separated by commas. So all, comma, Joe, comma, Larry, comma, Pete, and Sam. Click on OK, and now you'll notice that we are now able to see all, Joe, Larry, Pete. So we're going to use this with the conditional formatting formula in a little bit to create our conditional formulas. The next thing that we want to do is, what I want to do is for the breaks, so in my chart over here, you'll notice that we have breaks or gaps in the line. So to do that, I want to go ahead and insert, I'm just going to do an insert row in between every person. So Larry, Joe, Pete, just doing Alt-IR because I know the keyboard shortcuts, and now we have our gaps created. So now that we've got that, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create some different named ranges for our chart. So what I want to do is I want to go up to my formulas ribbon. From my formulas ribbon, I want to click on Define Name. All right, so first we're going to create Joe's gray line, and what I want to do is let me just move this out of the way. We are going to highlight our ranges and hold the Control key down, and we are going to start here in cell C6. So I'm going to hold and do C6 to C11. Now I'm going to hold my Control key down, and you'll notice it's got different groupings here of dancing ants. I'm going to do March, I'm going to do April, I'm going to do May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So we want to create our named range for the gray lines just for Joe in that format so that they're created correctly in our chart. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat that step, define name, and we're going to do Larry's gray. And in the refers to, we're going to do from the blank above Larry to the blank below, and we're going to hold our Control key down, and we are going to highlight in succession every single month for Larry for all 4 years with a blank on top and a blank on bottom. Now I'm not going to show you the next 2. I'm just going to go ahead and do Pete and Sam, and I'll be right back. And when we do that, we'll have all of those 4 names in, and you should as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created the named range for Pete's gray and also Sam's gray and clicked on OK. And now we're set to go ahead and get started a little bit more on creating our chart. One last thing before we create our chart, let's go ahead and copy January through December and let's put it up in another range. I'm just going to do Control C and then a Control V, and then right below it we want to enter in the value of 0, and we're going to copy that to the right. We are going to use this section right here to start our graph, and this is what we're going to use for our horizontal axis. So now we can go ahead and begin our chart, and then we'll add the conditional pieces into it after we create the gray parts. So I'm first going to highlight C1 to N2, going to go to my insert ribbon, going to go to a column chart, and I'm just going to do a 2D column chart. Now this is important that you don't start with a line chart, because we actually want these axis points to have, as you see here, let's go ahead and make that a little bit bigger, January, February, March, we want it to look like that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and delete this series name because we're not going to need that. And now what you want to do is, now that we have created our base chart, we want to add a second series to that. And to do that, we're going to click on our chart and go to our design ribbon. We're going to go to Select Data button, and in Select Data we're going to first, let's rename this Series 1 to call this the axis, or the let's do horizontal H-axis for the horizontal axis. Okay, now let's add our first data series, and what this is going to be called is just Joe Gray, so that we know what it is. Now this value of 1, I just tab into there and hit my delete key. I want to just go select any cell in my chart, because I'm going to need this to put in my named range. So we need the single quote, our sheet name, an exclamation point, and then right here I just want to overtype that A2, and I'm going to put in Joe's Gray. Click on OK. Let's click on OK again and look at our chart. Now you'll notice that our horizontal axis has been smushed over to the side, and we have our columns in there. We actually don't want these to be columns, so let's select any one of those columns, go up to your design ribbon, and then over to change chart type. Now once we click on change chart type, let's go ahead and pick a line chart, and we'll do a line with markers. Click on OK. Now after we do that, we want to select these lines, hit your Control 1 key or right click and hit your Format Data Series button, or menu choice on this pop-up menu. And then from here we want to move this to the secondary axis. Now also, since I have this up, let's go ahead and change our marker options to built-in and make them the diamond. Our marker fill we want to be solid, and once again these are going to be those grays, so we're just going to choose sort of a medium gray. Our line color is a solid line, and that medium gray. Our marker line color, once again solid line, and hopefully that medium gray is already chosen for us by now, but we can just choose it again to make sure and click on OK. And now we have our gray line for Joe. However, our x-axis is still smushed, so just select your chart, and to fix this we need to go up to our layout ribbon. From our layout ribbon we want to go to the axis button. We want to choose secondary horizontal axis, and we want to do show left to right axis. Okay, once we do that, you'll notice that our column chart that we originally created at the bottom, it now has our groupings for January, February, March, April, and so on. Now we don't need this right hand axis anymore, so the vertical one, we can click on it and hit our delete key. That puts our values back over on the left, 0 to 70. Now at the very top, this vertical or horizontal secondary axis, we do not want to get rid of it. We just want to hide it. So we want to right click on it, click on Format Axis. From here we want to change our major tick marks to be none and our axis labels to be none. If we get rid of it, we will smush our horizontal primary axis again. So we're getting pretty close. Now what we need to do is just go ahead and add our other gray series, and I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you can do the other two on your own. So select your chart, go up to the design ribbon, go to the select data button, click on add, and our next one was Larry's gray. And once again, in this series value, click somewhere in your spreadsheet, backspace up to the exclamation point, and type in our name that we know we called it, Larry's Gray. And if you click on OK, you'll see it adds it in there. We want to then reformat this line by hitting Control 1. We're going to go to our marker options and do built-in the triangle, marker fill, solid fill. Our gray should already be chosen. Our line color on solid should already be chosen. and our marker line color on solid line should already be chosen. Now go ahead and repeat this step for Pete's gray line and Sam's gray line, and you should have all 4 of those next. So we'll pause it now while you take care of that for yourself. Okay, so we have added the Pete gray and the Sam gray to our chart. Now, let me just move that off to the side, because what we're going to do is create our conditional format series that we're going to add to the chart to use for the pick list. So what you want to do is let's just go ahead and highlight the names and the years, copy that, come down to another section, and let's go ahead and paste those. Now, for our formula, what we need to do is we're going to use the not applicable formula or function with this. So let's go ahead and type in our formula. And so we're going to say equals if, and I'm going to hit the tab button. We're going to say if B1, which is our pick list formula, and I'm going to hit F4 to make sure that that is an absolute reference. If that is equal to quotes all, comma, then I just want to go ahead and use the value for Joe, this 31 value up here. Excuse me, and if it is not, then what I want to do is else if Joe over here on the left in A28, and we are going to go ahead and lock that down to make sure it stays over in the A column, so it's $A28 is equal to our pick list value up here in B1, and once again I'm going to lock that down so that that is not moving, in an absolute reference. If the leftmost value that we are using, which is Joe for 2010, equals our pick list, then let's go ahead and also choose C27. Now if it is none of those, then it's not all and it's not Joe, then we want to do NA double parentheses and end our parentheses for our if statement. And oops, forgot one more parentheses. Excel's going to put it in there for me. Now we had Joe is equal to 31. We have all, so if I pick Joe, we should still have 31, which we do. If I go ahead and pick Larry, notice this should be NA, and it is. So it looks like my formula is right, so I should be able to copy this down and then copy it over, and hopefully my formulas will hold. So let's see, we've got Larry. Let's go back to Joe. Look at this, and 31, 43, 26, 43. Looks like it is correct, so our formula should work. I think I can probably just copy this now to Larry, and if I change the pick list value to Larry, my formula is now NA for Joe, and it is working for Larry. I can copy this to Pete, and I can copy this to Sam. So now we have our conditional series that we have started for our pick list values. The only other thing we had down here was an average. So let's go ahead and copy once again the Joe and Larry and the years. We're going to paste this down here in our average section. All right, now that we need to create our formula for the averages, what we want to do is do an equals, and this is for Joe, so we're going to do Joe's average, and we're going to make sure that this is on the conditional formatting section. So we're going to do all of January's average here. We can end the parentheses now. Do need to modify this so that it works. We want to make sure that it's always C28 through C31, because I'm just going to copy and paste this down. Now it's not applicable right now because it's on our conditional formatting ones, and if we go ahead and change it to all, you will see that it is in there correctly. So we can just copy this down and over. I can copy this for my next Larry section, and instead of being my Larry section needs to be 33 through 36, I can modify my formula to be 33 through 36, hit enter. I can copy and paste this down and over, and I'm going to go ahead and pause this and just repeat that same step on our conditional formatted series for Pete and Sam, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created the average formulas for Pete and the average formulas for Sam, and then these should change if I go ahead and choose, let's just do Joe. Our gray series is still going to show as Joe. Our conditional formatted series is going to only show Joe and not show Larry, Pete, or Sam. Likewise, for our averages, it's only going to show the averages by month for Joe and not Larry, Pete, and Sam. Now, now that we have the rest of our series that we need to add to our chart, we need to define names for these as well. So let me walk you through that again. So we're going to go ahead and go up to our formulas ribbon we're going to do our Define Names button, and we are going to go ahead up here and create one called, let's do Joe's line, and that is equal to, up here, our conditional formatting for Joe. So let me move this out of the way. So we are going to do C27, hold our control key down like we did before. We have to individually select every month by itself so that it plots correctly. And once I am done with this one, oh, let's try that again. There we go. And click on OK. We're going to do the same thing, do another define name. We're going to do likewise for Joe's average, and that is equal to C47 through 52. We hold our control key down to get these non-continuous selection ranges in Excel, and just like we did for the gray series, we're just going to create all of these. Now, I'm not going to show you me doing every single one of these. You can see the steps that we're taking. Click on OK, and we have another defined name. So go ahead and do that now for all of your different series. For our conditional ones, so we've got Joe's lines, you need to create Larry's lines, Pete's lines, Sam's lines. Likewise, Larry's averages, Pete's averages, and Sam's averages, and go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we've created all our other defined name ranges. Now we need to add them to our chart. So select your chart, go up to your design ribbon, click on your select data, and this is the same process that we did before when we created the different gray series. We just need to go in ahead and add another series, and we're going to go ahead and do Joe's lines, and then once again I want to click anywhere in there, and I'm going to go ahead and type in Joe's line. Oh, let's just go ahead and take that name out, click on OK. You notice it's already added it to my chart. Also, we want to go ahead and do Joe's average, right? So Joe's average, and like we did before, hit tab to get to series value, click anywhere in your worksheet, backspace to the exclamation part. We're going to do Joe's average. Now, you can go ahead and do this on your chart for the rest of the ones. We're going to have Larry's line, Pete's line, Sam's line. We're also going to have Larry's average, Pete's average, Sam's average, and then click on OK. Before we do that, what you also want to do is then go in and select that specific line segment. Click on Control 1, and we want to change our marker options to look the same as our gray lines. So we click on Marker Options of Built-in. We want to change that to the diamond. Our marker fill. Now this is where we want to change it. Instead of being gray, we want to pick a color. Let's go ahead and pick that orange, and our that's for our marker fill. And then we want to do line color, solid line, choose the orange as well. Marker line color of a solid line, and it should already have that color for us. Let's go ahead and click on close and take a look at that. Then what we also want to do is select our average line. So let's go ahead and select our average line, hit Control 1, or likewise you can right click on it and do Format Data Series. Now I want to change this one to be no marker options. I just want it to be an average line. Of course, there's no fill needed for a marker fill. Our line color is going to be solid, but I like to make this one shade lighter so that it's there but not obtrusive, if you will. And then our marker line color of a solid line, likewise, same color. And then we click on OK, and let's go ahead and take a look at that. So you can see for March, perhaps, for instance, we have 4 different data points, and we have our average line showing up in there as well for the specific data series. Now go ahead and add your other 3 series to your chart, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have added all of our different legend or series entries. We've got the Joe's Grays, we've got the averages, we've also got the lines in there as well. And now you can see that our pick list is fully active. So if I come down to our pick list and I pick all, you'll see all our colors for every single data series. If I just pick Joe, you'll see Joe. If I just pick Larry, there's Larry's, Pete's, and Sam's. Might be good to, at this point in time, put back in your legend. So go up to your design, your layout ribbon actually. go over to your legend button and do show legend at the right. And in this case, I'm probably going to want to go ahead and select each one of these. I don't want the horizontal axis. I'm just going to select it and hit my delete key. Same thing with all these grays. Don't want the grays in there. And we can get rid of the averages because we just really want to show our specific lines. So there you go. You can see the different colors on who's Sam, who's Pete, who's Larry, who's Joe. And if we do all, it makes a lot more sense there. So hopefully you found this tutorial good and you like it. Once again, it's how you can make it a dynamic chart. You can also have it so that the chart is going to show all, and we are also doing an interesting grouping by January, February, March. Once again, you can also, you see, you can switch the data on its head and do by year. So instead we have the years up over here and January, February, December going down the side, so that you can group Joe or anybody by year as well, so you can kind of see their average by year. And you can go to exceldashboardtemplates.com in the link below and actually download this template file so that you can try this technique all on your own. Hopefully you found this helpful, and would appreciate any likes that you have, as well as don't forget to subscribe to our video channel so you're sure to get the latest posts delivered directly to your inbox. Thank you.